Hi, my name is Dylan Gladstone, and I've been on a VR horror marathon. And I just wanted to say welcome to Viewer Takeover and happy Halloween. Gotta get this thing off. It's stuck to my face.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we record every Tuesday afternoon at midnight and bring it to YouTube live every Tuesday. Live. We're going to get this down at some point as PSVR Gamescast Live. And every Wednesday, every 2 days, Viewer Takeover, when we let you, the loyal Game Cats, let you take over the show. He's new. My name's Brian Paul, and to my right, your left, the one, the only, the king of all VR kings. You just took everyone's title.
Woo!
It's Desra.
I'm the guy who steals stuff.
Steal stuff. Well, welcome to Viewer Takeover.
Yeah.
Jeremy's not here because he's feeling sick. I'm feeling sick of Jeremy.
'Tis the season.
It's not even cold out.
I just got my flu shot. Hooray.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to show me a tattoo.
No, nothing else.
That would have been epic.
Game cat forever.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. And every week on Viewer Takeover, we scour the videos, we scour the comments, and we choose our favorites. Mm-hmm. What's back there?
I just like the mat is really just popping in the screen right now.
The mat?
The mat on the frame.
Pretty impressive green screen we're using, huh?
Yeah.
and Des is playing it up like there's actually stuff here.
Right. Ooh.
Pretty cool.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
Really, what we do though is we search for hashtag Viewer Takeover. So we if you want your comment listed or responded to or read, question, my coffee hasn't kicked in, I apologize, on Viewer Takeover, then all you got to do is put hashtag Viewer Takeover in your comment somewhere in the beginning and or middle. Mm-hmm. It's a thing, and then we copy and paste it into a Word document where it puts question marks where they don't belong. We read them that way because we think it's funny. First and foremost, there's a few people we want to thank. Isn't that true, Desra?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Dylan Gladstone for today's great intro.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Dude, he is the king of all VR kings when it comes to Viewer Takeover spooky introductions.
Yeah.
I think he did our last year's, right?
Yes. Nicely done. So, enjoying the skeleton theme, continuing on.
That's right. And if you want to introduce next week's Viewer Takeover, then send your short, sweet, sexy, seductive, of age video to withoutparole@gmail.com. Yeah, keep it nice and short so it actually fits in our Gmail inbox. We gotta get legit inboxes at some point.
That works.
But we also want to thank some people down here. These people down here are loyal Patreon supporters. These are people who went to patreon.com/withoutparole. He's not Jeremy. Games.
Yes.
And they're giving us $1 or more every month. You want to give Jeremy's speech a try? What did they get for their $1 or more?
For $1 a month, you get access to the audio version of all the shows, which is not a bad thing.
I'm also really slacking on that too, but don't worry, they're coming.
They're coming. Yeah, I'm a big audio podcast listener, so I definitely appreciate that. But almost more importantly, you get access to the Litter Box, which is a special Patreon only episode where we either talk about, sometimes we talk about ourselves personally. Most recently lately, it's been Brian and I sort of on a deeper dive on gaming relating topics that may or may not have something to do specifically with PSVR, but we sort of keep our eye on the news that's going on. But either way, that's some special access just for you folks to support us on Patreon. And honestly, none of this would happen without you.
It's basically if Des and I were just hanging out having a conversation off camera, we just turn the camera on.
Pretty much this with even less focus.
Is that possible? So thank you very much for all the Patreon support. Please consider heading on over there and supporting us. But we also want to thank a few people who followed in Beauty in the Decay's lead, also known now as Matt the Game Cat. Mm-hmm. I think he's kind of MIA, to be honest. We should put Matt the Game Cat on the side of a milk carton.
Well, he was still first, so we need to recognize that.
Oh, he was a front runner. He is a showrunner. He is a trailblazer.
So it's his fault.
This explains everything. Yeah. But what he did was he one day he just showed up on our channel as Matt the Game Cat instead of Beauty in the Decay. And he started a movement. Mm-hmm. And so every week we want to thank all the people who changed their name to something the Game Cat or something similar, something Game Cat adjacent, related.
Right.
Attributes.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You could have stopped like 3 words ago.
I pretty much goes for all of my sentences. So first up, we want to thank Daniel, the Shrimp Cat. I don't know. Shrimp Cat sounds good.
Shrimp Cat.
I mean, I don't. Why?
Cats like shrimp.
Do they?
Well, my cat likes shrimp.
Okay. If it's in Meow Mix, I'm sure they like it.
Yep.
Speaking of Meow,
Mix.
J Meow, aka Justin Sadowski, aka J Dow, aka formerly Meow Dow, changed his name to J Meow, which I feel like is more appropriate.
That works. J Dow, J Meow. It sounds nice together.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jay. We love you. Also a moderator on the channels. Thank you for being so cool. I want to give a shout out to Bed in Game Cats, who was Bed for You and Game Cats, but then changed his name to Bed in Game Cats to be a little more.
Brevity's good.
I'm curious to know what the whole bed thing's about. Is it the Snorgy thing? Is it those your initials? Do you like sleeping a lot? I'm curious.
Brian expects Desra, and I ran out of letters. So.
Oh no. And then we got MTM the Game Cat. MTM the Game Cat. I want to say, God, I didn't write it down. I think it's Michael Mosier. So MTM the Game Cat. If it's not Michael Mosier, I apologize. There's no way of finding out.
Michael Motion, the contact juggler.
No, that's not right at all. No. Des knows about things I have no idea about. Let's get into viewer takeover though.
You seen Labyrinth?
Yes.
That's not David Bowie's hand.
I've only seen Labyrinth on LSD. I would not have noticed something like that. Hi, Mom. Okay, so every week on Viewer Takeover, we read your comments. Make sure you hashtag Viewer Takeover if you want to be on the show. Starting up with number 1, this is PSVR Underground, a.k.a. God Cannon.
God Cannon.
He wrote on The Door, PSVR review discussion. More popular episode than I expected it to be.
Surprisingly so.
Yeah, I didn't think anyone cared. You should, though. Check it out. Also, click like. Surprisingly few likes on that. He writes, hashtag Viewer Takeover. It's a thing. Some PSVR games seem to be shooting themselves in the foot with pricing. Why do you think they do that? And do you think it's better selling less at a higher price or more at a lower one?
So pricing is like the hardest question in all retail anything. It's not something that's just for games. And a lot of things go into pricing. So first of all, the developer may have no choice about the pricing. They're going to have a publisher who's saying, hey, you're selling it at this. And like, you know what, we made our thing. The publisher is saying it's going to get sold at that. Sorry, guys. So right off the bat, it may not even be in the developer's hands. 2, and that's exactly the kind of decision they're making. Like, do we say, okay, if we sell X amount at a bigger price, we can show that, hey, maybe we're going to get some more money in faster so we can actually pay the people who made the game, which, a lot of these people are freelancers. They're working on spec. They didn't do their other job for 8 weeks so they could crunch this in the last minute. And so they're waiting for it like that big paycheck. They may not have the luxury of selling at a lower price.
Yeah, there's no good way to answer God Cannon's question because do you think it's better selling less at a higher price or more at a lower price? It all depends on what those numbers are.
Right.
Like how many more are you selling at a lower price? Because the deal is, I'm sure that I think developers and publishers, no matter who you are, when you're running a business, making a game, people forget all the time that game development is a business.
Right.
You want to sell as many as you can at the highest price possible, and then you can benefit from sales later on.
Right.
Because those people who are interested in your game who aren't buying it because it's too expensive will buy it eventually.
Right. And the other thing is too, it may seem obvious. I probably shouldn't have to say it, but if I drop my price by 20%, that does not then mean I'm going to make 20% more sales.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. There's some magic number, and sometimes it does. It's unpredictable. I may release my game at $19.99 and then drop it to $17.99 and suddenly sell a bunch more.
Yeah.
Or it could have no impact at all. So pricing is magic, and I do think, to go specifically for PSVR, I think a lot of these very short games are really doing a harm to themselves by pricing themselves really high.
Oh yeah.
And it's again, like, I understand, especially from an indie developer, hey, I put this much time and effort into it, I want to be rewarded for that. And it is hard to develop these games from scratch. I'm not saying it's not, but you got to understand the market, and someone paying $35-$40 for a 2-hour experience, that's not going to help your reputation for the future.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And it's funny you mention that, because the first title I wrote down in terms of games that might have priced themselves out of the market was Pirate Flight. Pirate Flight is a super casual, like kind of kiddie looking game with like simple graphics and simple gameplay mechanics. And hats off to Andreas over there at Frozen Gun Games. He's working nonstop to make this game better all the time.
Right.
But man, when it launched at $15, I think all of us looked at each other and went, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, for like $6, you could have sold, like, when you put a game at a certain price point, there's there's a huge number of people who are just going to buy it because it's cheap.
Right.
You're like, oh, well, this is no risk.
Yeah.
This is no risk at all. I'm like $5-6. I'll totally buy this. But when you put some up to like $15, you're like, people start stopping going.
They start expecting a polished game.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a review. I'm gonna see what this is all about. I'm gonna see if this piques my interest at all. And the other one I wrote down was oh man, Run Dorothy Run.
Yeah.
Because when that came out at $30, I literally DM'd the developers and was like, guys,
are you sure?
I was like,
Is this typo?
because I was like, I feel like I've been playing these games long enough to know what people expect for what price point.
Right.
I'll say on the other side of things, flip side, coin.
Cold Iron?
What?
Cold Iron?
Oh, no. I mean, Cold Iron is an excellent example.
Yeah.
Sorry, especially later on.
Yeah. All right, so what were you going to say? You weren't going to say Cold Iron.
I wasn't going to say Cold Iron. There were three off the top of my head. In fact, now you guys know that we record this viewer takeover on Tuesday morning.
Right.
So literally, Paper Dolls just popped up on the store unexpectedly for like $16 with a 10% launch day discount.
Yeah.
I'm like, even on Steam, it's $30. So I'm wondering if those developers learned their lesson and said, "Hey, we didn't sell as many copies as we like on Steam for $30. Let's try another price point."
Let's just hope it's not because it's a nerfed edition or something.
Let's find out. It's supposed to be a 15-hour game. And the other one, I wrote down Preda Vendetta Rising, which is easily a 50-hour game. Tons of grinding, but it's a whole lot of fun. $20. And then on top of that, To the Top. The Top is a phenomenal game, grossly underpriced. You can play that game forever, and it just gets better the more you play it. Huge fan of To the Top. So we got to reward these people who are pricing their games appropriately.
Yeah. So our next question is from MTM the Game Cat.
Juggler, apparently.
Yeah. Mike Emotion. It's a thing. Okay. So this is from Viewer Takeover, # Viewer Takeover. That's confusing. But
it's a thing.
I played Torn and enjoyed it. I had very low expectations going in, having seen your review discussion. I had the opposite reaction to the Invisible Hours. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to read this.
Yeah, no. I went in expecting a murder mystery with a historical sci-fi theme. After stumbling across the true ending in the first hour... Oh, well, okay. I feel like the game actually ended up being sci-fi fantasy with a murder mystery theme, and I walked away hugely disappointed. Is the answer really follow the right character at the right time to solve this? Have you had any similar experiences where expectations either killed a good game for you or saved a bad one? Okay, so first point on Invisible Hours specifically, if you happen to find the true ending the first time through, that's cool. That's not the whole game. Because if you did that and follow that one character the whole time, I guarantee you missed about 70% of what's happening in the game. I'm a little, personally, I totally agree. I'm a little annoyed by the ending of the game too. I don't think it did kind of suddenly shift genres on us, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think everything else it brings to the table, there's so much more depth to the game that go ahead and revisit it. But in general, this is our whole business is dealing with expectations. That's the whole idea with, hopefully doing reviews and doing the review discussion shows so we can give people a more realistic expectation of what's happening. Because, I'm just blanking on a specific example right now.
It happens all the time, though.
Yeah.
The first thing I thought of was, this is totally obscure. One of the PS2 launch titles was Orphan Scion of Sorcery. And when I got a PS2, I remember just being desperate for games to play.
Yeah.
I blasted through everything that came my way, and I was like, do I want to play Summoner? Do I want to play this? Do I want to play that? And Orphan got such bad reviews in EGM. It was $16 used or something, and I was like, I'll just pick it up and blast through it and sell it. And I had so much fun going in because I was like, oh, I heard this wasn't so good.
Yeah. So
my expectations were real low, and I drank through the entire thing, so I don't really remember it, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So I think when people say how bad a game is, and then you try to play it anyway, I think automatically you're going to enjoy it more than most people do.
Right. Yeah. That's why I actually personally for me, when we're going to do a game for the discussion show, if I haven't played it yet, I try to not read anything about it. I try to even avoid our channel's reviews of it, Brian's reviews of it, any discussion in the Reddit or anything. I want to go into it as cold as possible because those expectations will absolutely change how you feel about things. The only thing that's coming to my mind is The Last Jedi. The most recent Star Wars movie. Depending on the reviews you read going into that, you had a very different experience, I would say. But so as far as specific games, the only one I can think of right now is Spark, which is weird. And I think, what happened to a lot of people is like, there are people like me who are, this is so amazing, and they get into it like, this is it. It's just me versus another person.
We're just throwing balls at each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, if your expectation was like, this is the end all be all of gaming, yeah, you would walk away like, this game is stupid.
Yeah.
But
meanwhile, I went into that game going, I'm going to hate this.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. Most of us did, I guess. So that's all right. All right. Next up is Shadowcast from Viewer Takeover. He writes #Viewer Takeover. Out of all the PSVR horror experiences you've encountered, what do you feel is lacking to make the experience truly terrifying?
Des.
I guess this is important for me to ask you this because what is going to actually scare you in a VR game?
Yeah, so for me it's and actually I was just listening to what was it? Dana Goldhour podcast, and they were talking about horror movies and things like that. And they happened upon something that I never really thought about, that he was saying one of his appeals, one of the things that appealed to him as a kid watching horror movies, was there was always a way to be safe. Right? There was a thing you could do. Now, a lot of times the horror comes from like not being able to do that thing, or the thing being really difficult or whatever, but they're, vampires, crucifix, right? That kind of thing,
yeah.
Right? Even like Freddy Krueger, okay, don't go to sleep or whatever, or just
Because that's easy.
Yeah, right. Or don't have sex, or just don't be a bad person.
Also easy.
Yeah. And so for me, a lot of the times, like these games that come out, it's like, okay, well, there's a thing I can do that'll protect me, so meh. But a game where it's like kind of that it's inevitable, right? There's just like nothing you can actually do. Like, spoiler for a game we're about to talk about, there's in Home Sweet Home, they're basically, let's call it, two main kind of creatures you face.
Yep.
And one of them is basically just this hand from above that you could be walking along and all of a sudden, boom, it's inevitable, you can't avoid it, it just
It's like a Monty Python foot.
Yeah, and I found that like so much scarier than the other one that was just kind of like walking around, and all I had to do was just sort of creep around. Like the first one wasn't scary. The second one, actually, that made me like seriously nervous because it could come at any time.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, we've talked about it. I feel to death. It just, I don't know. There's something about, and it's not just VR. It's movies, games. Just horror doesn't really work on me the same way.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been more petrified my entire life than when I was playing Resident Evil 7. Home Sweet Home had the same effect on me. There were moments where I had to take the headset off. Exorcist, where I just had to sit there and go, it's okay, it's just a game.
Yeah.
And I had to go back into it and be like, okay. Like, and I've said before, I think that there's something in me where I could go, I could turn off this terror if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just enjoy being that terrified of something.
Yeah.
As being as old as I am, very few emotions are dialed up that high for me.
Right.
I don't feel any other emotion, like even like happiness. I'm like, I never feel that happy as I do that terrified when I'm doing anything. So it's like the fact that I can still feel that much of something is just an amazing feeling at all. So I don't want to turn that off. To answer Shadowcast's question, in the future, I hope we have like haptic feedback vests where like you're walking along like in a haunted house and somebody like grabs your shoulder. Mm-hmm. Oh, I would lose it. I would lose it. And like a second, I'd be like, poof. But for right now, I'm scared enough.
Yeah.
I don't need anything more. This makes me lose my shit on a daily basis.
For me, I'm starting to realize and accept the fact that it's not something the developer may be necessarily doing wrong. It's just something that's wrong with me.
All right, we knew that already. All right, you're up, Asia.
We got to blow through this. Jeppy Condyle.
What up, Jeppy?
Jeppy Condyle. Okay. From the Home Sweet Home PSVR review. I want to play it, but I just don't have the guts. And we have a response. Traveling Gamer responded, same here. I just can't handle horror in VR. I couldn't even finish the kitchen demo. I took off the headset, keeping it stationary and watching the ending on the social screen. I think that might have been a follow-on to the first question. Because it's less of a question and more of statements of what made people scared.
Yeah, well, it was. I put this in specifically, even though it wasn't like a real viewer takeover thing, because Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yay.
But also, did you play the kitchen demo?
I did.
Okay, what did you think of that? I mean, I know, knowing that you're broken.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on how it was done?
I know it makes it's an unpopular opinion. I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm in this thing, and yes, it's immersive, but again, it didn't really work on me so much. There was
a
like
short, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it was certainly short. Was that you ended up with the thing stabbed in your leg, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds right.
I did feel like, okay, that was cool. I wanted to kind of, it was immersive enough where I wanted to kind of grab at that while it was there. But and again, take this with a grain of salt. I'm broken. Everyone else says it's really cool and spooky, but
I mean, for something that you just sit there and watch, basically, it's pretty cool. And so the reason I included this is because I would hate if like Jeppy Condyle and Traveling Gamer, if they missed out on something like Resident Evil 7 because they're just too damn scared, or Home Sweet Home because they're too damn scared. Because if you're like me, hashtag Brian Cries, like you should totally be checking these games out, because if these things get to you that much, then like this is an experience you don't want to miss, right? There's something awesome, obviously, about going to the movie theater and being scared with a bunch of other people. This takes it to another level, and and if you enjoy something like that, you should definitely be trying these games out. And even if you can only play for like a half an hour at a time because this is your terror level, still do it. You'll get like 6 weeks of gameplay out of this.
Yeah, I'll even say on the flip side, if you're similarly broken to me, like me, and like these games don't scare me, Resident Evil 7 is just a well-crafted game. Period.
Also true.
So it's just worth playing, even if like just take the fear part out of the equation. It's just a good game to play.
Yeah, and don't take the headset off and play that, because that game is boring on a flat screen.
Yeah, no, do it in VR.
Yeah. All right, and then finally, okay, we're gonna start. You see those arrows in the middle?
Yes.
We'll start there.
Okay.
Okay.
And Cheyenne, he even sent a pronunciation key. It's right here.
Cheyenne
S-A-Y-K. Cheyenne S-Y-K. Okay.
There you go.
With Sony saying they want longer PSVR games and better exclusives, I instantly thought of Kojima and Death Stranding. Now, Kojima is all about marketing. He released PT as a demo, which was meant to be an unannounced Silent Hills, then also released a prequel demo for MGS5. Now, how cool would it be if he decided to incorporate VR for Death Stranding as a prequel demo, or even super wishful thinking, the full game be in VR? Cool. That's answer that question. Very cool. What other full-length games do you think might be PSVR compatible we just don't know about?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I feel like Concrete Genie is like this new spray painting, like imaginative game that's supposed to be coming out. There were rumors about that being PSVR compatible, which would be amazing because like it looks good enough, but like, man, with VR support, that would be incredible.
Right. Well, as we've seen, like just about everything from like certainly PS2, if not PS3 generations, are technologically you could import them.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I guess what other full-length games might be compatible? I mean, if Skyrim is compatible in PSVR, then anything can be compatible.
I took the question the wrong way. I thought you meant like what other upcoming full-length games.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? Let's backtrack just a little bit, because I want to say, as far as Death Stranding goes, everything we've seen of Death Stranding so far, I mean, we've seen some really cinematic things, but like all the actual gameplay they've showed of like just the dude walking around carrying, it looks like, it reminds me of dragging like a wagon, red wagon behind you, but he's just dragging shit everywhere. Like it seems so basic and so simple, and like there's just, and even the graphical fidelity, I know it's probably early on in development, but man, it just doesn't impress me at all.
Yeah.
And there was a part of me that's going, this could easily be a VR game, just because they're not showing much detail.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Kojima's always got a card up his sleeve, and that would be amazing. And I think that would sell VR to the masses in a heartbeat. To see like, hey, here's this big AAA developer. Just kidding. It's really a VR game, and that would be something he would do.
Or we find out that what we've seen is actually just a game that someone in the game is actually playing. Like they just pull out their phone, they're playing that game, and actually the real world is something. Wow, that is more Kojima than Kojima could imagine, right?
Yeah. So we don't. The answer is we don't know. It's. I got my fingers crossed that that's a thing, but who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens.
I think my short answer is I don't think there's anything that really can't be done in VR at this point. I just think it's a matter of the willingness of the developers to release it for VR as well, because it is quite an undertaking to take something and convert it from 3D to VR. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times you have to sacrifice quite a bit as far as like graphical fidelity goes. And I think a lot of developers, there's somewhere in the development team, there's an artist that's like that. Hey, here's my vision. Right. And when that vision has to like be downgraded substantially to hit a certain frame rate and have two images projected at the same time, I think somebody in that team's going, I don't want my vision to be compromised this much. Yeah. And so I don't know. I think as the number of headsets sold increases, I think we're going to see a lot more companies
definitely take the dive and be like, well, you know what? Maybe we'll reduce our resolution to up our sales.
Yeah, I think we just take a page from Borderlands and Skyrim and stuff like that. Just take stuff you already have. I mean, it's an expensive undertaking, but some of the biggest successes have been exactly that. Skyrim, Wipeout. I mean, those have been huge hits.
Yeah,
and not much. You don't really need to spend much creative effort on them.
Exactly, yeah. And we've proven that we're more than willing to spend full price on the game all over again.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to get ready for PSVR Gamescast Live. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out and watching Viewer Takeover. Make sure you send your Viewer Takeover introduction to withoutparole@gmail.com. Make sure you head on over to patreon.com/withoutparole.
Seriously. Games.
There we go. Who needs Jeremy?
I do, apparently.
And hook us up with $1 or more a month for those Litterbox episodes and MP3s. And finally, what was the last thing? Oh, if you want your Viewer Takeover question read on Viewer Takeover, remember to put hashtag Viewer Takeover, all one word, in your comment on any video.
Right.
We will find it, we will read it, and we will butcher it.
Yes.
All right.
Because if it doesn't have that, it's invisible to us.
And change your name to GameCat.
Yeah, you.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Peace. All right. Let's see. So we want to be finished up at 55 at the latest, so we can get the stream running as fast as possible.
Cool.
All right. Ready to do this?
I am ready.
All right.
I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's too many things going on here. Right. I just tweeted now. It looks like I got nonstop retweets and likes and stuff. Sweet.
Yay.
All right. What's up, everybody? No, that's the fucking wrong show.
Yeah, whatever.
This is the Midnight Games Cast.
Hey.
No, that's not the right show either.
This is Viewer Takeover.